this one we are trying to fix this issue we have here. Every time this refreshes, even the input box is refreshed. So if I type some text here trying to write a message, whenever I receive a new message, all that text is gone. So that's not good at all. But we can easily fix that because we can tell it to only refresh this area right here. And if we go to send message here, we'll see that in fact it's chats here. We'll see that this messages holder only contains the messages, this div right here. So that's the div we have to look for. So messages holder. So what we want to do is, let's go to index.php here, and then when we are refreshing here, instead of assigning this to chats, okay, we're going to call this one chats refresh, I think, just so we can tell that it's different from the normal get chats or something. So chats refresh like this. Okay, everything else remains the same pretty much. So now when we go to API, we have to put an OR statement there. So let me copy this instead. API. So where we are getting chats here, so on both occasions where its data type is equal to chats, or let me duplicate that and put an OR statement like this, or it's equal to chats refresh. So both of these times should still lead to the same destination. So let me do brackets there so that it can evaluate this before doing the AND. So if it say the chats or chats refresh, we are still going to go to the chats area here. Now the difference is that at least now I can know that I can ask if it's this. So I'll go here, up here, and I'm going to say if where is this? I'm going to set a variable called refresh, and I'll set it to false. And then I'm going to ask the question, if data is equal to that, okay, if this part is true, then we are refreshing. So refresh should be equal to true here. Like so. Okay, so chats refresh, then refresh is true. So now I just need to check for refresh. I just wanted to shorten this because this is quite long to be checking for all the time. So I'm just going to say if refresh, then I know what to do. So in case of refreshing, what we need to do is to omit sending this information now chatting with. So this should not go if it's on a refresh. So we'll do if refresh. So we'll say if not refresh, then do this. Like this. So if I say if not refresh, so if it's not a refresh, then we can pass through here. So I'll keep asking this one. So same thing here, if not a refresh, pass through here. Because if it is a refresh, we shouldn't be showing this header because it already exists. We shouldn't be capturing that. So same thing as this one as well. So the main part that we are worried about is this one. So if not refresh, that's when we add it. If it's a refresh, so which means now if it's a refresh, we are only getting this part here, which is good. And then here at the very end, we're going to say data type is equal to chats refresh. like so. Oh wait, too fast. So also we will have an if statement here. If not refresh, so here we can just check if refresh, since we are going to have an else statement. Actually, we don't need an else statement. What we need is to put one at the top here, set it to 1, and then check something and set it to the other. So we're going to set it to chats, but if it's a refresh, we'll set it to chats refresh. Very nice. So I think that will probably solve the problem. And so now when I go to index.php, here where we're receiving the received information, we want to do exactly what's on chats here, except actually no, we want to do something else. So let me duplicate this, and then I should remember to add a break. Okay, so if it's chats refresh, we are coming here. So in this case, what we want to capture is not this, but let me come back here. Boom. So what we want to capture is this, the message holder alone. So let me come back to index.php. So replace that with message holder. So it's message holder. I want to, yeah, so it's in messages. That's where that is. So the inner HTML will be like that. So let me paste that there and get this here. So messages holder.inner HTML is equal to that. So that's what we're doing. We're just refreshing the inside part. So let me see if this sorts the problem out. Refresh, talk to the guy. So let me type something while I wait for the refresh. I'll know that it's refreshing if I see something here. There we go. And everything seems normal. Even as it refreshes, I will be typing. Okay, great. So we are in business. Now, the next thing we want to do is to, if you notice when I click on chat here, if there is, I haven't selected a user, it brings this undefined here. Okay, now instead of us getting the reason it does this is because it can't get it didn't bring the result. So instead what we want is to be able to still, I think what we do is we put let me come here to messages. If a user is not selected, we show all the messages, my previous messages, with other people. So I think that could actually be a better way to do things. Okay, righty then. So let's come back here to do that, and we will do it in chats because chats is the one that initializes messages. So let me come here. So there's a part here where we are saying that if user ID is not set, okay, which is this one, or wait a second, okay, what we could do is this. We go to index.php, okay, and then right when we are selecting what to do, get data, no, not there, start chart right here, down, where is this? There we go, start chat right there. So let me put an alert here so that it can show me when this is firing. I'll just say, hey, Okay, so that I know. Refresh. Nope, that's not when it's firing. There, that's when it's firing, when I start that chat. Okay, so I want it to fire when I click here instead. Okay, so wrong place. I think it's right here. Get chats. So let's see that in action. Boom. Okay, there we go. That's the one. However, I think since it's already sending an empty array, an empty object here, I think this is fine. So let's go to chats instead. So in chats here, what happens is if you don't send the user ID, it's going to be equal to null. And then when you read from the database, you will not find that user. And so this will not be an array. So I think what we will do is if we go down here to the else statement, we can, if the user is not found, we just read all the chats, the previous chats that this person has had. I think that should work very well. So to get previous chats, I think we can use this formula right here. We say select all from messages where the sender blah blah blah. Okay, we come down here. What are we doing here? Okay, where sender and receiver is here. Okay, so yeah, I think this would actually work. So let me grab this. Right here. Okay, so from here up to there. Let me come down here. Let me not delete that. I'll leave it there for now. Push back a little bit. Okay, so the only ID we have, because we don't have the other person's user ID, so we just have our very own user ID. So I'm just going to say user ID here to simplify things and remove this one. So what I want to search for is where I am either a sender or a recipient, right? So I'll say select all from messages where sender is equal to user ID. We are sending to user ID here. Where sender is equal to user ID or receiver is equal to user ID. So if either I'm sending or receiving, that's my jam right there. Now here, because it's going to bring up a lot of messages, because let's say it's the same conversation, it's going to still capture all those messages from the same conversation. So if we go to the database, so as you can see, all these are different messages, and here I am either a sender or a receiver, so all these messages would be returned. But the good thing is that we can group them using the message ID and treat them as one thing. So I'll do that here and say group by message ID. Okay, so that all this conversation just represents one result. Great. So now that we are here, we can still bring, okay, so this is not what I need. What I need is this part right here, which says chatting with. This is the part I need. Bring that to here. So how do I do this? Okay, so my data is here. So at this part, this is the loop after the results, okay? And then what I need to do is get the user data. So I need this one, but I will need to replace all this with that. So image, because this is inside the loop, how do we do this? Inside the loop, data here, copy and paste like so. Okay, so this is, okay, I'm getting a little bit confused here. All right, so the user is this one. There we go. Okay, I wasn't seeing that. So for each, then we grab the details of the user here, and then we display them here. So the image is of the user. So my user image, and then my username. So that's it, just the image and the username. Brilliant. So here now, since, okay, so this is already inside a loop, so this is good. Now we have to remove the now chatting with and write something else like previous chats. And then on top of that, I have to copy this part and put it outside the loop, just here. Or so that even if we don't find a result, we can still return something. So I'll put it there. But then here, I'll say my data dot equals to add to it. So then I remove this part because it's already there. All right, so loop, 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 loop. And that's it. Then we'll send the data back. So at this point, I will copy this part and put it here. Great. But then I'll remove this if statement because I don't need it. Okay, so data is here, then messages is going to be an empty string. So here I'm just going to put an empty string like this. So let's see if this actually works out. Moment of truth, refresh, chat. Okay, so clearly there are some errors. If I come here, I will see that there is a parse error. So in order for me to know, I'll go to the index page and look at where I am receiving the data and put an alert for me to see that. Handle results right here, alert. This is our debugging tool right here. So let me come back and refresh the annoying pop-ups and click here again. So recoverable fatal error. How can a fatal error be recoverable? Anyway, objects of class could not be converted to string. Oh, these are small errors. This is on line 100. Okay, let's go to chats on line 100. Oh, okay, so that's because I added the $sign there. And then my user, where is my user here? Okay, there we go. I think that's fine. Okay, so let me try that again. And there we go. There is John. Previous chats. Okay, so it's actually working. So let's go back to the index page and remove our alert. Save, and let's give it a spin. So now let me start another chat with Mary. So I'm going to say, hey Mary, what's cooking? Okay, hey Mary, what's cooking? That's good. So that when I click on chats, I want to see two names here. And so there we go. I've seen myself and John. So it's not able to tell. Okay, So this is a problem. It's not really a big deal because let's go back to the database here. What's happening is that it's grouping everything together, but it's getting the record where I am the user is prominent. So what we will do is, let's go back to the same charts.php, and I want to change the query a little bit, add another parameter. So where sender is equal to that or that, and how do we limit this? Okay, actually there's no need to limit, because if let me come back here. There's a remedy, a quick remedy to this. So it's the user that we've decided to get here. That's the problem. So we decided to get the sender and the receiver. So I need to just check right quick. I need to just check which one I am, whether I'm the sender or receiver. So what I will do is put an if statement here. If data sender is equal to, so if the sender is me, then get the other one. So if this is true, then I'm the receiver. So I'll just have a variable at the top here. It's saying other user underscore user is equal to, so the other user, I'm going to set the other user to receiver, just as a base. So I'll set it to, actually let me set it to sender. So I'll set the other user as the sender. Then I'll check if sender is equal to me, okay, then do the opposite. Then what we're going to say is other user, let me just copy this, other user is equal to receiver. Then in here we're just going to use other user. Okay, I think that sorts the problem out. So let me refresh the page, click here. So there's John and there's Mary. Very, very good. It's just that it's not showing the placeholder. So let me come up here, the placeholder image, which is this one. Boom. So I'm going to copy row image is equal to image. So there we go. Copy that. Let's see, image is equal to row, gender, male, I think. So let me come down here. That's because Mary doesn't have a profile image. If we go to contacts, Mary doesn't have a profile image. So here it should show the placeholder. That's the only thing now. So if I come here, where is this? This is the user we've selected. So at this point, instead of just going to user image, we are going to intercept it right here. Come back here. So what we will say is that image is equal to my user. So let me duplicate all these and say boop, my user. So image is equal to my user, whatever it is here, to choose whether it's male or female. If it's set the image, if file exists, then set it to that. So image is equal to that. So then I don't need to set it back here. All I can do is delete this and set this to image like so. I think that sorts the problem. And there we go. Brilliant. So now these are previous charts. So in a next video, we'll see how to be able to click here and to start the chat from clicking here, just like we are doing by clicking here. Okay, here you go. Great. So our chat system is doing excellently. Contacts, there we go. Very nice. Chats, previous chats. Okay, so far so good. We have a working model, just need some few cleanups here and there, and we'll be done with it.